This is the video part 2. Because obviously I'm recording, so I'm just letting the people them know. But as I was saying, these people worked on secret projects, had access to classified top secret documents, had seen with their own eyes captured aliens or extraterrestrial entities, UFOs, and the incredible technology they brought with them. These are the people that's been providing the information for us so that we can have some, so I can read it out to you right now. And this is how important this whole stuff is. Just making sure that that's all right there. Okay, sightings of UFOs, unidentified flying objects if you like, have been reported throughout history. And biblical and historic references to flaming chariots, huge flying birds, and odd-looking beings predate our history by thousands of years. Okay, now in the 1940s, several alien spacecraft were recovered by the US and other countries, along with a few dead aliens and one live one, which they named EBE, a name suggested by Dr. Vannevar Bush, which was short for extraterrestrial biological entity, if you like. Okay, but in 1953, astronomers discovered large objects in space which were moving towards Earth. At first they believed that these were asteroids, but later evidence proved that these objects could only be spaceships because of the way that they were maneuvering. Project Sign and Project Plato intercepted alien radio communication, and using a computer binary language was able to arrange a landing that resulted in face-to-face contact with alien beings from another planet. Meanwhile, a race of human-looking aliens contacted the US government, warning us that the aliens orbiting the Earth's equator were hostile beings from Orion. These human-type aliens demanded we dismantle and destroy our nuclear weapons, that we were on a path of self-destruction, and we must stop killing each other, stop polluting the Earth, stop raping the Earth's natural resources, and learn to live in harmony with one another. President Eisenhower rejected these demands. Now later in 1954, the race of aliens known as the Greys from the area Zeta Reticuli in space, who had been orbiting the equator, landed at Holloman Air Force Base. They stated that their planet was dying and they needed quarters on Earth to conduct genetic experiments that might allow their race to survive. This was in exchange for certain technology. President Eisenhower met with the aliens and a formal treaty was signed. Now, the treaty stated that the aliens would not interfere in our affairs and would not interfere in theirs. And we would not interfere in theirs, rather. We would keep their presence on Earth a secret, and they would furnish us with all types of advanced technology. They could abduct humans on a limited basis for the purpose of medical examination and monitoring, with the stipulation that humans would not be harmed, would be returned to their point of abduction, that they would have no memory of the event. This is what they agreed in private, didn't even consult us at all. It was also agreed that alien bases would be constructed underground beneath Indian reservations in the four corner areas of Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado. Another was to be constructed in Nevada in the area known as S4, about 7 miles east of Area 51, and it was known as Dreamland. A multi-billion dollar secret fund was organized and kept by the military office of the White House, supposedly to build secret underground sites for the president and staff in case of military attacks. But you see, they were using them to harbor aliens. By secret exclusive memorandum NSC 5410, Eisenhower re-established a permanent committee known as the Majority 12, which is the MJ-12 I was mentioning it just in the text before, to oversee and conduct all covert activities with the aliens. These included FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover and 6 leaders of the Council on Foreign Relations known as the Wise Men, very apt, and later others from the Trilateral Commission. George Bush, Gordon Dean, and Brzezinski were amongst these people who we're talking about here. Today, the government is on the horns of a dilemma. Too many sources are releasing alien information. The public could get very angry at continued secrecy. So this MJ-12 plans soon to make an official announcement under controlled conditions, probably Area 51 if you like. Network TV would be called to meet the staged landing, quote unquote, of these aliens, and these being the Greys. And they will come bearing gifts, technology that supposedly will heal cancer and AIDS, retarding aging, etc., etc. And they will tell us that they are the saviors of humanity who have come to defend the earth against an invasion of human-eating aliens called reptoids. Now this story is a lie. They already work for the reptoids. So how the hell are they going to protect us from these so-called you see what I mean? This is the kind of lies that they've been peddling to us for all of these years. Their plan is to unify the world into a, you guessed it, one world government, a new world order, with the argument that this can be the only way, with their argument is that only this can defeat the invasion by these so-called reptoids. This is a trap to enslave the world's population. Control will be accomplished through the money system, a universal currency controlled by certain international bankers who for years have been the lackeys of these aliens, who seized upon their greed and lust for wealth and power as a means to bring about their evil plan to control the earth. This also being a scenario which was predicted in the Bible, if you like, the book of Revelation, wherein only those who accepted the mark of the beast, the aliens being the beast, and the mark being some sort of laser tattoo or credit card that they will use, which will allow people to buy and sell goods. Those who do not accept this mark must live outside the money system and survive somehow on their own through bartering, etc., etc. So be aware. Only your knowledge of this fake invasion and fake rapture can prevent it from happening. Demand the truth from your government. Tell them you know about the aliens and that there are good aliens and bad aliens. And the MJ12 is promoting the bad aliens and this one world government that they hope to control. And that is being inflicted on all of us right now. Insist on the true story of the alien presence. Your life and your livelihood could depend on it, as well as your freedoms. And this is important information, because right now they seem to be like herding us into this one world government. They keep telling us we live in this global community, whatever the hell that means. Now all of a sudden everything that we do on earth is all linked into one. Nobody is separate anymore. We're all one entity. We're all supposed to be the same, when that is a complete and utter fallacy. We are not the same. We are anything but the same. We are all born individuals, free to make our own choices, and that's the way things should be. We should still be allowed to make our choice. We don't need people hiding in the background, determining our future, kidnapping people and draining our vital fluids, wanting us to be donating organs after, you know, they're already planning what they're going to do with our bodies before we're dead. You know, at least give me a chance to die first before you start cutting me up. You know, it is mine, technically, it's still mine. And I should have, I should be able to have the right to let you know what I want done with it when I'm passed. I want them to make sure that they burn me and put me into an urn. I don't want to be buried under the ground or separated and cut up and to be used for organ donors. I don't know, maybe I might feel different again, but right now, no. Just no, you know what I mean? And probably most of my organs will probably be useless anyway. But hey, who knows? The other crucial part is the history of alien visitation. Yeah, in 1938, archaeologist Chi Pu Tai discovered a strange alignment of graves in the Bayan Karaula mountains near the Sino-Tibetan border. Also were cave drawings which are illustrating beings wearing helmets, the stars, the sun and the moon, right? This is all cave drawings, what they've got there. And they also found reports of the discovery of small, frail skeletons with unusually large skulls. In 1962, a strange record-like disc found amongst the graves was translated by the professor Tsum Unyui. Yeah, that's right. And the translation tells an eerie tale of how a group of beings crash-landed on the third planet in the star system approximately 12,000 years ago. Repairs to their craft were apparently unsuccessful, and so attempts were made to befriend the local mountain tribes. But instead, probably out of fear, the beings were hunted down and killed for their non-human appearance. The relevance of this story is the time in which the event was recorded. It was long before the influence of the government, TV and media could corrupt information. They wrote simply what occurred at the site, for they had no knowledge we would find it centuries later. What reason would there be for the recording of an event that never happened, in a time when long-distance communication would have been completely unheard of, let alone understood? The events described on this disc were more than likely recorded as best they understood of the circumstances. Here you will find a more detailed account of the event. If you want to look it up, Droppers crash 12,000 BC. Droppers being D-R-O-P-A-S. Droppers crash 12,000 BC. Has man been visited in the past by alien beings from other worlds or dimensions? A skeptic at first, but as the indications mount up, it becomes harder for me to ignore all the implications that support this question. Choking here. I mean, I felt it necessary to pose certain questions and facts in the hope of stimulating a desire for people to take it upon themselves to investigate the greatest mystery of all time. The alien-human connection, if indeed is one, could be profound, in my opinion, personally. From remote viewing data and the alien abduction claims to ancient scriptures and tablets, an image of the true nature of the human being emerges. According to some remote viewers who claim to have made contact with alien entities, according to these people, they state that these entities believe us and all sentient beings to be more than just physical beings that age and die. Some even claim to have been told directly that we go through many physical bodies in the course of evolution and the creation of life. This idea, strangely enough, seems to be reflected in our many ancient cultures and is still present today. So it is important to note three ancient Hindu texts, the Bhagavata Purana, the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana scriptures. Now these scriptures, they all date back at least 3000 BC and are among some of the oldest writings currently known to man. Now these scriptures, they speak extensively about flying machines called Vimanas that flew not only in the skies, but they flew to the stars as well. India's Vedic writings speak of gods, they're called devas, from other star systems. They tell of how the human soul is non-physical and how our sentient energy goes through a succession of physical bodies, as only the physical body dies but the spiritual lives on, our consciousness, if you like. The Mayans believed that their predecessors came from the Pleiades. The Mayan Indians of Central America knew that the earth was round centuries before the Europeans made this discovery. The Popol Vuh states that several gods, including a few of the Mayan gods, Xbalanque and the great god Quetzalcoatl, returned to the stars after their earth life had ended. In India, it was and still believed the man that descended from gods who flew. It was still believed that man descended, rather, that we as human beings, or mankind if you like, descended from gods who flew fiery crafts. Early Chinese texts tell of long-lived rulers from the heavens who flew in fire-breathing dragons. In Tibet there is a book called the Katunya, which means the translated word of Buddha, and it tells of flying pearls in the sky and of transparent spheres carrying gods to visit man. Here too, the belief is of being reborn time and time again, and not just to earth. The royal pedigrees of the Tibetan kings date back to the 7th century. It states that the first 7 Tibetan kings came from the stars, and goes on to say that they eventually returned to the stars. Ancient Egyptian legend tells of Sepi, or the first time. That this describes an age whereas the sky gods came down to earth and raised the land from mud and water. They supposedly flew through the air in their flying boats and brought laws and wisdom to man through a royal line of pharaohs. Interpretations of Babylonian and Sumerian writings speak of how man's early history was greatly influenced by visitors from the 12th planet in our solar system. Ancient Sumerians called this planet Nibiru, while the Babylonians referred to it as Marduk. Now, this implies to some that our solar system may contain a 10th planet, since the Sumerians counted the sun and the moon as heavenly bodies. In 1983, the Washington Post service reported a heavenly body, possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter and possibly so close to Earth that it might be part of this solar system, has been found in the direction of the constellation Orion by an orbiting telescope called the Infrared Astronomical Observatory. There's one man that spoke a lot about this, and his name is Zecharia Sitchin, and he is one of less than 200 persons on this planet. Well, rest in peace, the late great Zecharia Sitchin, because he's not with us anymore. But he is one of less than 200 people on Earth able to read the Sumerian language, and he is the author of the book called the Earth Chronicles. You can find that on the internet as well, and he too tells of this 10th planet. His story states that this 10th planet came into our solar system about 4 billion years ago, demolishing another planet, which created the asteroid belt between beyond Mars. And Sitchin goes on to tell of an alien civil war and of colonizing efforts on Earth to include the creation of modern man. So it goes, a ruler named Alulu was overthrown and fled from Nibiru during a time when the planet was losing its atmosphere and was dying. Gold was found on Earth believed to be able to use to stabilize the 10th planet. Hardships of the mining operations caused a revolt among the aliens, so they created modern man through genetic manipulation of the early humans to provide labor, so that they didn't have to do it. At some point, although with great disapproval, some aliens interbred with humans. Sitchin also states that the offspring of these human-alien affairs are the Nephilim mentioned in Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. Bible translators have concluded that the word Nephilim designates ancient heroes who are the product of sexual union of heavenly beings and human women. Then, around 13,000 years ago, the aliens realized that the return of their home world would cause widespread floods and tidal waves on Earth. It was then decided to keep this from the humans and allow them to face the coming cataclysm. One alien broke the agreement and warned the human Noah of the impending disaster to come. It's all there in the Bible. Sure, you can read about it. You've got the final furlong of the show coming up. You've got the last half an hour of me, then I'm going to be out the door, and we'll continue with more of this after the break.
Well, this is Shower Too Fast promotion and Pandi's family. You don't know, say.